is the Freddie Mercury of poetry, here to make you wet one way or another. They are the burlesque poet of Atlanta. Yes, we like the snaps. Welcome to the stage, Jordyn King.
Ooh, okay. So, I was asked to do this a little bit last minute. I was not prepared to do a poem tonight. So then I was thinking, I was like, oh no, is there a theme? And everyone was like, it's open theme. And I was like, well, that doesn't help me at all. But 2 days ago was Mother's Day. First of all, anyone who is a mother here? Yes. Anyone who is a parent here? Yes. Love. Anyone who feels like they don't need to make a big deal out of Mother's Day for any reasons, whatever? Ooh, thank you, love. Bless. Anyone who feels like they don't need to make a huge deal out of Mother's Day or Father's Day or Parents' Day or anything like that, right? Thank you. I'm one of those people. I don't make a really big deal of it because my parents know that I love them 24/7, but I've also had a really rough relationship with my parents. So, in that spirit, I'm going to resurrect a poem that I have not done in 4 years. Now, those of y'all who knew me when I first started doing this was a poem that I did when I needed to make people cry. When I felt it was really, really important for everyone to cry.
You made me cry not too long ago.
You know, when you're good at something. So this poem is called 1,000 Paper Cranes and a Wish. Are you guys ready to hear it? Yeah! You see, my mother always wanted a son. A boy who would grow into the kind of man that my father never was, so she had me. Named me after my father, released me into the world, and every time I step outside as a femme, as trans, as myself, I'm worried that I'm disappointing her. You see, I wonder if she still thinks of me that way. As the boy who grew up into the kind of man that my father never was. And it hurts a little bit, but at the same time, I kind of hope that I'm right. Because maybe then my mother will smile whenever she thinks of me. You see, I don't send her pictures of me anymore. I'm afraid of what she might think if she sees me in a skirt or a dress or with full makeup and painted nails. I suppose this is a little bit of a confession. I'm a little bit sad a lot of the time that I cannot be what my mother wants me to be, so instead, I fold this body of mine into origami. I contort myself into every box that I can find. Balloon animal myself. Anything that I can do just to make sure that I get a smile from someone on the street. Growing up, my mother and I never said, "I love you." Instead, she would take me to the library when I ran out of books to read. She would go over my homework every single night to make sure that it was done correctly. And when I was struggling in math and sciences, she printed out extra worksheets off of the internet to help me practice. When I was sick, she would take me to the hospital. And when I was depressed, she started taking me to therapy. And when I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, my mother made sure she set an alarm so I could take my medication every single night. You see, I know that my mother loves me. And I also know that she wanted a son, a boy who would grow up into the kind of man that my father never was. And no matter how much I try to pretzel this body of mine, that is one particular box that I have never quite been able to fit in. I suppose I just wanted to be a little bit too much like her. So full of love and femininity that it burst forth with every action that I ever took, every walk to the library or return trip from therapy. And I don't know how to say I am sorry for tricking her into investing this much time into me. And then, one day I called up my mother just to talk. Just because it was Mother's Day, and what do you do on Mother's Day except call the people who have disappointed you? I call her and I say, I love you. I call her and I say, I love you, and the word love drops from my mouth like an apology, like an admission of failure. I cannot tell her how sorry I am for failing her, for not being what she wanted, a boy who would become the kind of man that my father never was. And I am just so much better than my father ever was. My mother's eyes hold mine across the screen like a wish, like an I love you, like acceptance. There is no malice in her voice when she says, Jordyn, I love you too. She uses my name. Always. I love you too.